This is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is Man United we're talking about.
This is Manchester 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 United we're talking about.
Oh, this is Manchester United we're talking about.
It's Manchester United we're talking about. Manchester United we're talking about here.
This is Manchester United we're talking about.
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 It's Man United we're talking about. It's Man United we're talking about. It is Man United we're talking about. It's Manchester United we're talking about.
It's Man United we're talking about. This is Man United we're talking about.
It's Manchester United we're talking about.
We're talking about Manchester United.
This is a disaster we're talking about. Man United apparently being rejected by Osimhen. Gavi Guerra fake news. You know, let's never believe an 8-6 longer, whatever it's called, that post aggregate. I don't know what the hell that is. Nathan Salt's come out and said that there's no such thing. The guy's got basically a year left on his contract and pretty much probably wants a new contract. He's a good player though. We've scouted him in the past. I would definitely have him at the moment, but we'll talk about it anyways. And then we got this HOJLUND stay-in bullshit. If you don't know, nothing new again, is it? We already knew this 2 weeks ago, but yet he continues to talk to Inter Milan. So that's that. We'll see on that situation. And then, yeah, we see that apparently there's a SANCHO breakthrough, which was actually yesterday with Juventus. It's just, you know, when it comes to these Italian journals, it's a little bit confusing with what's believable and what's not believable, because apparently he said yes even last week. I don't know what his name is, because of an M, Mario something. So, well, doesn't matter. Who cares? Big up to anyone that's actually in here. Smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. It obviously helps the algorithms and it helps the video. You lot been told this all before, so it's not like you don't need to be told. You just know when you do land in one of these streams, it'd be appreciated. And subscribe if you're brand new as well. If you come over from NAF, all the best. This is my channel if you've just found it. Wait, why have I got that there? Get rid. Safe. Anyways, come out earlier from one of those Turkish sources. And again, same thing with the Italians. With Turkey, I see this, yes. I don't know how to say his name, yeah. But it's like he waffles. He's the one that said that Sancho's going to Fenerbahce. It didn't happen, did it? There was not even a bid, let alone any sort of talks with them. So that was all bullshit. Anything that goes to one of the Turkish club sides, he hypes it up. I don't know how credible this man is, but I feel like he talks a lot of shit. And he's always trying to aggregate for... It's a bit like Christian Falk when it comes to Bayern Munich. I've got this... I feel like he's kind of the same when it comes to like the Galatasarays of the world. I'm unsure how true this is, but apparently Man United asked, and I'm pretty sure they did in the past, because I saw a David Ornstein video, like an old one, talking about the Osimhen and how situations can change, and the club when it was going on during the Club World Cup, saying that United's requested him to lower the wages. No shit, Sherlock. And apparently, you know, Osimhen has rejected that. Now, if he wants to stay in Turkey, I mean, so be it. You know, apparently they still want this release clause of like 50 odd million, and apparently Galatasaray have bidded that, but no one else has actually reported that Osimhen's staying there. Because if he really wanted Turkey, surely this deal would have been wrapped up ages ago, right? Doesn't want Saudi. They're not looking to revisit him. He would have rejected 2 of their offers, got tempted, rejected. No Premier League clubs coming in for him. The Juventus stuff is a little bit hit and miss. So clearly, I don't think his priorities lie with Turkey, is it? In the Turkish league with Galatasaray, because you would have stayed there. You know, you can touch up the badge all you want and tap every time you score, but no one believes all that shit. You've enjoyed the time, but I do reckon he's got ambitions to go elsewhere. But as time goes on, Osimhen's options going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, now you got Gyökeres going to Arsenal. That link's done. He's not going to Liverpool, is he? Chelsea can't exactly they don't exactly want to break their wage structure or go in for him, because I feel like they would have had him if that was the case. All that's really left is Man United, Juventus, and pretty much Galatasaray. But even then, how much would Man United pay, and how much is the real wages? Because no one really knows the story. It's a little bit again hit and miss with all this information that's coming out. No one truly knows. And there's obviously the other guy that's apparently is from Nigeria who's close to him. I don't know how credible that man is either. You know, if he is to be the #1 choice of United, then, well, so be it. I think that would be amazing. I think United should definitely be going all out for him, considering if he can get his wages to something like 200k per week with incentives. I think that's a brilliant deal. But any movement with United at the moment is until Mbumo's done, until the rest of it's all sorted. We don't really know who our true targets are. We get a new central midfield link every single day at this rate. And also, further than that, it's like, who really are our striker options? Like, you know, Ollie Watkins seems to be the one that I think United are going to target. But if there's only Osimhen and Watkins, that's literally it. We already know who our striker is going to potentially be, and we might not even get him. Especially with Rasmus HOJLUND staying, he's a bunch of bullshit. It's just nothing's changing. It's just another stream with more frustration. But again, we just got to talk about what's relevant. Big up to anyone that's inside as well. I seen Danny B with a thumbs up. I see Kingsman, HOJLUND stays, good one, Romano, and how you word that as well. If United does not want to sell, we want to sell him. Two non-tweets from Romano today. Yeah, it seems a little bit recycled, isn't it? Big up Ed in the building. Smash the likes before we start. Big up David, Aaron Mitchell, Wolves. You're always supporting, man. You've been around for a long time. Mustafa, we are done out here. Branulus, that's a great name. Ivan says, where the Ineos Glaze at? Trying to tell me Mbumo's big moves. We're just lucky he wants us. Been an effing month. Yeah, he wants to stay in Turkey. Then why is it not done then? It's an easy deal, right? We are locked in for Mbumo. Nothing else is happening. 5 weeks of everyone working on one deal. The club is a shambles. Big up Jarvis as well. And everyone else that's pretty much in the room. I liked Osimhen, Rios, Dumfries, Emi Martinez transfer to United. It's better for next season for Amarim, please. Very unrealistic. Vlahovic linked to Villa and they owe 10 million debt-wise. Watkins is a priority. Well, I feel like, you know, with United, I feel like we could definitely make a meal out of that situation. But how long is it going to take to get a striker over the line? This is what I said yesterday. Like, who is really negotiating all of this? Because Matt Hargreaves is a negotiator. At this point, you'd think, well, sack the pup. Just go sack him then, isn't it? After this summer's done, you've got to reevaluate and say, does he need help? Do we need more people? Who did we really sack? Because we don't know. Was it more negotiators? Because he's the chief negotiator, right? What about the other ones? There's a lot of questions that we want to pinpoint and point the finger and go and scapegoat or just something to blame pretty much. But no one really knows. Again, I don't really want to go over yesterday, but if we're going off Osimhen, if he's your true target, surely you just go all out. Because if Gyökeres was the number 1 target, that means United were confident enough that if he's the only one that's literally going to be pretty much a free run, then you was going to put the money up eventually for him. What do they want? 70 million? Was it 70 million? They're gonna go for 70 million. United were comfortable, apparently, from what I was reading up, conversations every day, phone calls, Amarim, Wilcox, understanding the situation. Romano said it himself, right? That means you're willing to put up more money than what we actually think that they've got. We might have more money than they're pretty much putting out there for us, because I don't actually believe this anymore about this whole cash situation, this whole, you know, PSR stuff. We got lied to for a long time, and I don't mind that, because you got to play a blinder, right? You got to negotiate away and make teams think that you're broke, and I don't think Brentford believe that. Now, since those accounts got looked into and United's whole PSR, right, got pretty much blown out there, and then you know, oh wait, hold on, you must have some wiggle room to go and do what you need to do. I reckon Mbumo would have been done. So you didn't fool no one there, realistically. I think the bluff has been absolutely found out. But if you're willing to put up 65 to 70 million for Gyökeres, then surely you're willing to put up the 50 million for Victor Osimhen, because clearly they want Garnacho. We already know that. And he's just being a little prat, and no one in the Premier League actually wants him. You should be getting Osimhen over a Watkins all day long just because of his profile alone and what he'd bring to the side. But on the Watkins side of things, it's like, how have we got down to 2 strikers? Not even like 5 options. We've got 2 options. There's no other options. There's no Jonathan David no more. There's no Victor Gyökeres no more. Benjamin Sesko is way too much money. We're not going to fork out 70 million for him, are we? Or 75 million for whatever they want in. So we got nothing left. There's Mateta, and that was an old link. That was just registered interest. That was back in January. So I mean, not doing nothing now to go for him, so we might as well cross that off the list. So you keep going and crossing off the list. It only brings it down to these 2. It's like, well, go and put the money up. If Rashford's going to leave, right, and his 300k is gone, or Jadon Sancho's money's gone, You know, you've got, you know, what's it called? Ericsson's money's gone to, what's it called? Cunha. And the other money's going to go to Mbumo. That's quite easy. We've got a lower wage bill than flipping Liverpool at the moment. So it's going to go further down, right? Anthony's wage is going to go as well. Sure, whatever. And whoever else you're selling an extra 50k off of Garnacho, if you can sell that little shit, right? So making up, what, 200k of what Osimhen, I'm pretty sure he'd be happy to accept that, but we'll find out soon. I just don't think we're actually in for this man. I would love to think that we are. And I know he's been in conversations with Laurie Whitwell. If anyone's seen on the Stretford paddock talking about him, or if not on Talk of the Devils, right, with what's it called? Is it Andy Mitten and the rest of them? Osimhen was a name that's always popped up, but the wages has always been the thing that's been absolutely just dried up the whole kind of conversation. As soon as you hear "but," even when it's from David Ornstein, but the wages. If United don't want to break that, that means really and truly all these stories coming out with United and Osimhen are all bullshit. Because what's the point of having interest in someone that has no interest in lowering his wage? Even if it is later in the window, the demands obviously can lower his demands, but that doesn't scream to me someone that really wants to join Manchester United. It sounds to me that someone's really wanting the money, you know. So I don't really want to kill his character, but I thought we was all gassed off the situations of like the Mbumos and Cunhas that they want to join Man. They're excited. I don't look at Osimhen and say he really wants to join. I think he wants his money, which is fair enough, but it doesn't scream, I want Manchester United only. Whereas Watkins has already said that he's already open to Man United. He could stay Villa. He could play Europa League. I mean, he had one taste of, bitter taste of what's it called, Champions League. He doesn't care. I don't feel like Watkins and Aston Villa's relationship is exactly great. If Villa needs to go and pay up a certain amount and got to sell someone, and I don't think they'd have an issue with it, then surely United can definitely fork out something, especially where they need this 10, 15 million to make up. I think if we put all the chess pieces together, everything pinpoints to Ollie Watkins at the moment. And I'm not opposed to it. What do you lot think anyways? They stopped chasing Garnacho a while ago. Yep. Osimhen just wants money and to stay living in Europe. Seems like it at the moment. I saw that before. They said Osimhen is a dream, but the money is too much. Oh God, there you go. Don't even want to talk about you, mate. You're always trying to get onto me, innit? So I can't be asked. I'm done with this ownership. Start the protest. I might look, protest all you want, but protests don't do anything. I'm so convinced. Like, you can go and protest out United. You can go scream and shout, you know, all the Joe Glazer songs and, you know, Glazer's gonna die, all this stuff. Nothing changes. You know, someone will just take your seat. You might get banned if they catch you. Nothing until if you really want to change, you empty the stadiums and start sending bigger messages, or you start abandoning the matches. But everyone's so scared to have their tickets banned or taken away. It's never gonna change. I mean, big up to anyone that wants to, you know, come together as a unit, as a collective, and make the message clear. But that message don't mean shit with these guys that are in charge these days, these super billionaires. And that's the harsh reality. It's not like it was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, longer than that. So yeah, Vlahovic is there to be done. That's basically Rasmus Højlund in his final form. There's no point. 10 Serie A goals. No, what's the point? I'd rather just stick with Xerxes at this point and go for and put that money into a top centre mid. If Man United really want to go and believe that Amrim can coach, then I'm happy to see Xerxes as our main number 9 for next year. If it means that we can go and put that money or put that pot into a new goalkeeper and a top central midfielder, I don't mind that because it's only one season. And it means, okay, what happens if, let's say, I don't know, Xerxes gets injured? Well, you put Cunha up top then. And then you go put someone else in the left attacking mid. We got Kobe Mainu ready, you know, with a much better side. I think there's many ways to go about this. If the number 9 is not available and you can't get him, then wait. Just wait. What's this? Bang on Cass. Stop going to matches, buying merch and season tickets. Got to hurt the Glazers and Ineos where it hurts. The hip pocket, of course it is. Cass advised you watch some next season. You said this yesterday, bro. You said this on a super chat, so don't try it there. You want a super chat over there, but you don't want to super chat. Actually, you said that here, to be fair, IDK. Refusing to take... No, that's the pay cut. Yeah, that's the whole Osimhen. Osimhen is a dream. Because you know what Osimhen would provide? And sometimes, if United can really get this one, and he is the dream target, what he has for me is what I prefer. And it's like just a lamppost, and he's a handful. He's a bully. And I think in this day and age of new age centre backs, your Levi Colwills, you know, I wouldn't say Fofana, he's been around for a little bit. You know, Tossin's a bit of a unit, but he's stiff. Your Badia Shile's, he's a bit stiff as well. Like, for me, all you need is a little bit of strength. And I'll know if I just focused on Chelsea, but bar Van Dijk, Salibas and stuff, I think the centre-backs out there are pretty rubbish, actually. I think there's no top centre-backs anymore. I think this is the age of strikers at the moment to really make a name. Scalvini, what a weak piece of shit, right? Always injured. You know, you look at some of United's situation where it's like you're waiting for them to become something. You know, that's everything at every other club. And I feel like just having a little bit of a bully striker, someone that's an aerial threat, really could make the difference in the Premier League this season and in the following seasons. You know, channel running, holding up the ball. You know, Osimhen's technique has been so degraded by online viewed, think that he's an absolute bum with his link-up. His link-up's fine. The ball doesn't bounce off of his foot. I just love that about a striker. That's why I wanted the Mateta presence a little bit more than maybe a Watkins, where Watkins is decent at hold up. He does lose the ball here and there. His passing can be a little bit suspect. But with Osimhen, I just feel like we'd get an absolute easy 20 goals just because we have the option to cross the ball. And I find, and Ollie Watkins is also good in the air, don't get me wrong. But one thing that pisses me off about United is we don't have anyone that's got good quality deliveries. And if we do find a header, it's because it's a corner or a Bruno Fernandes free kick, whipping it into Maguire or De Ligt or someone, right? I want to have more option when it has to these wing backs when they are attacking. Just having that extra, you know, whip in the area, just that extra option. I just feel like you do wonders with that. Look at Chelsea when they had Kai Havertz at times, right? When they had Lukaku before he went AWOL. It's just that, you know, when you had Chilwell, Reece James whipping in those mean balls, right? Pause. You know, there's always a situation. And I feel like, for me, Osimhen would just mop that up. Every time United get on the wing, in terms of these wing backs, we either pass it back or we just drive to the byline and kite it back. I don't like that. If you're gonna play wing backs, then surely you have you have the option where they can actually cross the ball properly into our attackers to make more of a situation to get more goals. You know, look at Man City. Man City's had it with Kyle Walker in the past, but then he changed his game up a little bit. Or João Cancelo, who just cut in. Different situation, but when they're like Zinchenko's going on, you know, and even recently with Rico Lewis or Mateus Nunes, even Vardio, they've all got decent whips on them. Gives an option for HOJLUND, and they'll just wait for De Bruyne to whip it in. I just want that option. I would love that option. We just don't have it. DCL screens Man United. No, he's too injured. You know what, yeah? If Dominic Calvert-Lewin in another universe could stay fit and had stayed fit, I wouldn't, if he was on a free, I would take him as a option B on top of the option A, just because of that aerial threat, the En-Nesyri type. But the fact he can never stay fit is just a no-brainer. I don't see United going for him. It's all banter, really. Let's be honest. He's got offered to United. I see Fabrizio put out a post, but United haven't acted on it. It doesn't tell me United want him. I don't feel United's new way of doing things is, yeah, you know, he's a free, let's go and take him. Because if that was the case, you might as well have got Jonathan David. Yeah, big up Yusuf, man. Price tag for Onana, 30 million, mate, more like 20 million, 15 million even. Watch Vitek knock Onana down to number 2 this season. I feel like Vitek's, he's been around for a long time. Is it just me or has he been, I feel like he's been around forever. How old is he now? Is it Vitek Pereira? Is it Vitek, Radek Vitek? Is that his name, the Czech goalie? How old is he now? He's 21. Okay, maybe not. He played last year. Is he still playing for us? He's on loan. He had he played 26 matches last year in the Austrian league. Plays 26 games. Fucking hell, he's fucking tall. Oh, sorry. He's what? He's how tall? Is he like 6'5", 6'6"? Jeez. Who's he? He was on loan to Austrian Bundesliga FC. Who the hell are they? Who's that? Let's have a little look. Let's look at the table. Austrian Bundesliga. Cool. Table. Last year, they finished 6th. They conceded only 45 goals, but it looks like the other top clubs conceded a lot less. I ain't seen a comp. It'd be nice to see a little bit of a compilation to see how he is. I don't know. Does anyone have any information about him? Because if he's that good, then, you know. Thoughts on the latest Richard Rios links. According to Pedula, we watched him closely, game-to-game basis. You know what my thing with Richard Rios, you know, before we talk about all these central midfielders that we're being linked to, is how credible is he when it comes to outside the Italian transfers? You know, like, I don't... Lewis update, Fab, run me that. Let me check this. Juventus have been approached by Premier League clubs for Douglas Luiz as expected to leave his club. No talks or contacts ongoing with Como so far. So, looks, well, it seems like he's an option. For me, out of United, with the whole profiling, when you deep the profiling, Gavi Guerra, right, on the ball, I think he's going to be something amazing. I really do. I think he's going to turn into a top midfielder. But let's just put it to bed. It's fake news. Nathan Salt's come out about it. I'm pretty sure I believe him on this one as well. I think United have him on the list, but I think he's really far down. I think it's just interest. Like, you know, they appreciate him. Gavi Guerra is a baller. You know, he's good on the ball. He's got good strength. Got a good pass in him. You know, he's comfortable in first phase. He's that guy, right? You need him more of it. But for me, you need him more in a 3 than a 2. I think you get the best out of him there. With United's profiling, though, of someone that's athletic, you know, with this whole Douglas Luiz stuff that's come up recently, I do believe it's out of Ederson, the top, which is the top target, and we all know that for quite a while now. But with this whole United thing acting on a budget, if you're looking at someone that's 25 million rather than 60 million, Richard Rios, if it is true that we're scouting him, and I don't know how credible that is. I have not seen that from anywhere else. I think Alfredo Pedro is not exactly a tier 1 for outside Italian news. So it'd be nice to know that we do have him on the shortlist. Has anyone got another link with that? Then great. I think he fits the bill. Realistically, you look at his Club World Cup performances. How do you not go for someone like that? Correct. But I think it's going to be Douglas Luiz. You know, you've already got a decent relationship at the moment in terms of with Juventus. You know, talking about Sancho, one goes one way, then the other goes the other way. I just think it's an easy deal to line up. In an ideal world, you probably actually say that you want both of them in. If you get both of them in, it works as a great pivot, doesn't it? You got a bit more of a playmaker, and you got the one that's going to be the more attacking box to box. I think they'll complement each other really well. You know, got a Colombian, you got another Brazilian. Love, you got some flavor going on at United for once. Ederson's going to Saudi. That's an old rumor. I don't think he has ambitions to go there, but never say never. Justin, Man United put a 30 million price tag on Andre Onana, but the goalkeeper looks increasingly likely to stay this summer. So nothing that we don't know yet. Also, we got a Discord. If anyone wants to join, it's right there. Just scroll up a little bit, you'll find it. It'd be interesting to see who new wants to join up. But yeah, if I had to choose out of Richard Rios or Douglas Luiz, I mean, on one hand, you got Douglas Luiz, who's been proven, but it's not exactly had the greatest time in Italy. A little bit of a risk, some injury, but I think he's got a lot to prove. I think that's a great motivation for a player who's looking to get on top again, right? I think that's 25 million is a bargain. But then you got someone who's the flavour of the month, and he's been scouted before by many clubs. Forest are looking at him, Tottenham are looking at him, we're looking at him. I'm pretty sure there's other multiple clubs that are looking at him. I think Everton also got rumoured for him. See, my issue with Richard Rios is I think Jarvis said this before, it's his discipline. I think if you can get some discipline in his game, then you've got a bit of a player there. But I feel like he's someone that needs to express himself a little bit. And I really like the profiling of it, because it sounds like he'd suit everything on paper, right? But we need someone that's disciplined to stay in the defensive side of the game, that's happy to drive at times, but you've got a lot of cover work to do. I don't know if he's going to enjoy that role personally. I think he might be a little bit too attacking. You need to... Like, to get the best out of him, you need to free him up so he can go further forward and do his thing, you know? I think if you put him next to Nagate, it sounds like energy, right? But Bruno's the captain. He has to play, correct? He's the one that's going to be the game changer potentially for us still. So when you look at it, I do believe Douglas Luiz is the better option if it is true that you're going to go and get him. I do believe he's a little bit too disrespected just because he's had one bad season. For his standard as well, you know, I think Douglas Luiz you can't go wrong with that. Easy deal, easy money. I think he'll get back to his best at in the Premier League. You know, he's used to England already, you know, used to the weather, food. Juventus has not been a good time for him. Whichever factor we want to point to try, you know, defend him, whether it's his ex-misses or maybe he's just not adapted that well, or he had a poor start, meaning he can never get going because he got injured. You know, he can never get going after that. I don't think he's been totally poor. I think that's been taken out of context a lot. If you go look at some of maybe the games or highlights, it's not being rubbish. It's just that he's just not being preferred when, you know, Motta was in charge. And that's fine. These are looking spooky. Which part? Rios and Agate would work together good. I think so. In some games, 100%. But the only part is how much progression can you get that in terms of playmaking from the back? Who's going to be the one that's going to ping? You know, it does lack that little something. And I know Richard Rios has got that in his game to do that, but he'd rather carry the ball rather than play the ball, the long ball, you know. But in terms of pressing, I think you can definitely play higher up the pitch with them two if it was an option. I would go for Richard Rios. It gives us a strong right side. Mazarawi, Ahmad, Rios, and Bumo. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong. You know, he's on a high. I think he'd be excited at the opportunity to go to a bigger club. Yeah, man. I would go for it as well. I don't mind. He's got two different ones. You know, Douglas Luiz gets about the pitch decently. He does get caught out at times, but he's got that playmaking factor about him, which means my whole theory in my head is like, imagine having Bruno and a Douglas Luiz. If Bruno's out the game, let's say he needs to rest, which you shouldn't need to with one game a week, right? So maybe not. But let's say he did get injured. You know, God forbid he gets injured. You know, you got Douglas Luiz, the one that's going to be more of the playmaker. You can't really say Richard Rios can fill in that role. We kind of need to play totally different when Bruno's out the side. I'm trying to work out. I'm just wondering in my head how it would actually work. Richard Rios is a headless chicken. I wouldn't call him a headless chicken. You've got nothing nice to say either. I know. You know what, Mum Spaghetti? Yeah, I know you've been wanting my attention for a minute, right? But it's just like I get the gimmick in it. You know, it's okay to be yourself as well. You know, like it's all right. Like you don't have to be negative on pretty much every single thing that comes anyway. It's not just Man United. It's just what? It's Arsenal. No, you support Arsenal, Chelsea. It don't matter who it is. Like be yourself, man. Rios and Mainu would click as well. Maybe. It does sound like a better pivot, doesn't it? It's a little bit like the Amadou and Nana, but I feel like Amadou and Nana's got a lot more discipline. I don't know where you're thinking Rios is rubbish, but maybe you lot have seen a lot more than me. I see someone say something earlier that was interesting. I don't know who this is. Man United, Inter Milan, and Juve have made inquiries about Edison's situation. I've already opened talks to the 26-year-old. Who's the Fernandez? I would like to know that. Why are we not getting Dumfries? He's a great white wing back. I don't know. That's not true. Headless chicken. Study Richard Rios' heat map and you will see he's disciplined in his position. Yeah, I mean the heat map, but I'm going off of what I've seen at the moment. And you know what? To be fair, Palmeiras, they do play a little bit more reserved. Could help. But yeah, it's his defensive side of it. Is he willing to stay in the defensive side of the game? How willing is he to do that? Are you getting the best out of him? More questions. It's a lot of questions. It's a lot of risk, but you can't really knock 20. How much is he worth? Is it 20 million? Is it 20, 25 million? Journo for goal, Brazil. They've been all right as well, haven't they, Ed? Manu number 6 arc incoming, getting the ball off defenders and spraying it about. Then you're not getting the best out of Manu either. We're in such a sticky situation. This is where we need 2 midfielders, man. You know, if we're going into the season, and don't get me wrong, 25 million euros, oh my God, yeah, take it in a heartbeat. We're going into the season, and my 4 options are Bruno Casemiro, Richard Rios, maybe let's say that / Douglas Luiz and Agate. I'm not thrilled by that, am I? I'm not exactly excited. I'm not over the moon. I'm thinking there's something missing there because don't get me wrong, Agate's got legs. One of those other midfielders will have legs. You know, if you really want athleticism as your main priority to get up and down the pitch, then Rios is way more athletic than Douglas Luiz. But then look on the other side of things, and it's like, well, we'll see how Casemiro does, but he needs a lot of help. He needs a lot of help, by the way. And then when you look at it again with Bruno Fernandes, yeah, he's got legs, but he's not explosive enough. It's stupid. It's like, okay, Collier's there. But then Colley's not. I don't think Colley's trusted. He's going to have the best preseason of his lifetime if he's going to be considered by Ruben Amorim saying, you know what, you're going to be my option. You know, maybe we see less of Casemiro and more of something like Toby Collier. Because if you want an athletic build and you want to run ragged these teams into the ground, because we haven't exactly had a massively great pressing team since under Fergie, by the way. We ain't done none of that. Then I'm looking at that thinking, cool. If you got Toby Collier, Richard Rios, and Agate, you can go press. You can press the other team into oblivion and win the ball back. It's called great recoveries. And there's Bruno Fernandes. Let's not underestimate Bruno Fernandes' ball recoveries. He's one of the best last season in that. So I can't really not put him in that mix. Cool, but if you got Casemiro, like let's not act like Uncle Cass. Like he's good in some situations, but he's in a lot of the Premier League games. He was a passenger. Big up Abdi Aziz. He says they call themselves best in class, but are chasing a Brexit striker. Everton didn't want, which is, I don't think we are, by the way. A pure PR circus, still stuck on one transfer for over a month. Ineos can't even shift Deadwood. Yeah, man, it's looking a little bit sour at the moment, isn't it? I thought this would be the perfect one. Jonathan David on a free. I mean, he's gone Juventus now. Gone Juventus now, man. What's he saying? Andre, big up yourself. He says, unless the leeches F off, nothing will change. Coach will probably get sacked by Christmas. I only hope it's full sell, which won't happen unless the parasites are forced out. Potentially, yeah. Only want to see and hear we go with Sancho going to bake a carrot cake as soon as it happens and celebrate shamelessly. Like, carrot cakes are really nice. I really like carrot cake. Banana cake as well is quite decent, but carrot cake's leng. The first fixture against Saki Yokeres and Eze Rodrigo. Boy, it's going to take... we'll see. It doesn't matter what situation Arsenal have against Man United. It's always a close game. Big up Cass from Brisbane, Australia. Oh, big up yourself. It must be like midnight where you are, right? Or it's like 1 or 2 in the morning? Be honest, Cass, what do you think? Who do you think you sign as someone, especially the pace you're doing deals? Well, for me, I do think we get Mbumo done this week. I think it will get the here we go eventually. I don't know when, but I feel like the Rios deal or the Douglas Luiz deal is a lot more straightforward because it's not a lot going into it. If they're talking 25 million, 20 million, that's quite easy, isn't it? You don't really have to fluff around with that. I reckon we can get a central midfielder done rather quickly. It's the striker part for me that's going to take a little bit of a while. And I think it's going to have to be Watkins at this rate. I think Osimhen is just talk. I don't think United are actively seeking it. And, you know, recently with the inquiries being made for him, it might be another difficult one to go over the line, man. Might even take to the end of August. I saw that Everton were linked with Maguire, but Maguire's not going to leave. He's going to leave at the end of his contract. Yeah. Oh, God. Casemiro had a DCL that might as well be an ACL. Not taking the piss. Nope. No Jackson. Anyone that supports Chelsea in it, I don't want to do any business with Chelsea ever again. Ever again. You must be out of your absolute mind. No more dealing with Brentford after this either. Fuck that. I like Vista, but I'm not trying to have Brentford's attack all over again. Yeah, it's just it's dead. And you know what? With HOJLUND staying, you know, if we let me see what he actually said. Let's see how he broke this down for HOJLUND. Someone said it a little bit earlier. Cool. Rasmus HOJLUND doesn't want to leave Manchester United this summer. His desire is to stay. The only possibility for sale in this case, United decide to advance in talks and proceed with his exit. Inter keen for weeks, but still now in standby. The only possibility for sale is in case United decide to advance in talks. His desire, whatever. His desire is to stay. Who gives a fuck? I don't know. I don't see anyone picking him up. United's going to have to loan him out. I'll be real. United have to loan him out somewhere. I don't think we're going to get a deal for him. Go get him, let him go do somewhere. Go somewhere. He's got 3 years left on his deal. Go somewhere else on a loan, right? Because no one's going to maybe get an option. Because if he does well, then they can go and buy him. And I don't think they're going to buy him for 40 million. You have to take an extra year out of his contract, right? And then from there, we can maybe raise his profile in terms of price and you could probably sell him for around 30 million. Maybe tops. Because that's it. Let him go to another league and go ball out. Because if he balls out, he would have more suitors. But at this moment of time, he hasn't got a good enough showcase to show teams that he's going to absolutely do them wonders and get them goals, get over the promised land, because he's not that good. In another league, he might be amazing. It's spooky, man. It's spooky. I'm not going to lie. Like, trying to shift these rubbish players. This is what happens when United are so incompetent in the past as well, especially in the past. And you let a manager decide all your transfers. And rubbish ones like that. Stupid, man. So dumb. Imagine seeing another season of fucking HOJLUND. By the way, 20 likes of 100 if you haven't done so yet. So if you don't mind smashing the likes there, much appreciated. But yeah, I don't know. I'm done with this whole thing. I'm done with this scenario. So who can we go and raid? Well, HOJLUND wants to stay. I don't think Man United want him to stay. And touchlines online. They're cool, whatever. In a bit, man. So dead time to be a United fan, I'll be real. Dead times.